Okay, so Lord is having me record this. I don't usually record my conversations with him. I mean, I hear him talking all the time. All the time. And I'm telling you, some of it's been really weird. And I'm sure that if a lot of people would say, oh, you're schizophrenic, or you're, you're crazy. That's what he says. He said, they just say that you're crazy. They'll just say they're going to think it and they're going to say it. So you might as well get used to it now. Yeah, I'm kind of used to it. People have been calling me crazy for a long time. Or they've been telling me I talk to demons and like all kinds of weird shit. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what's going on though. But you can't convince anyone of that when it's happening to you. You know, because they're not in your head. They're not in your heart. They just don't know. Can I roll a cigarette, please, Father? He says, wait. Okay. So, he's been telling me he's coming. He's coming. I mean, he's been saying that for a long time, and I know a lot of other people have heard it. I am not even close to the first or only one. And 112 on the timer. He's saying that some of you are not trusting the signs and miracles and things that I've been showing you. Some of you are not trusting it. Or like you're trusting some of it, but not all of it. He says trust all of it. It's all him. It's all him. And if you're... Stop, baby. If you're one of God's chosen, like you'll know what I'm talking about. Everything you see, everything you hear, once you're outside the matrix, once you're outside of the, he says the good and evil operating. He said, no, you said that, but I liked it, so I'm asking you to say it again. Okay, thank you, Father. Because I started doing this as a live on YouTube, and he said, no, he said, no, you're not as, you don't feel as on the spot when you're recording, and he's right. He's always right. 212 on the timer. So he's saying some of you are only trusting some of it, but like everything is him. Literally everything. It's weird. Okay, Holy Spirit, all of you, none of me. I can't do this without you. I'm just gonna wait on you. Okay. He says when you're in the matrix, he's not in control of everything. He is, but he isn't, because we have free will, and because we have free will, we control that matrix until we're outside. Sorry, Father, this is like mind-bending stuff, so I'm just gonna do my best here. He says when we're in the good and evil operating system, and I don't mean like in duality, because as long as you're a human being, like we're gonna be dealing with duality. 3, 2, 1 on the timer. Belle, stop, please, honey. Here, let me move this for you, sweetie. Oh, you ate it all. I'm so glad you liked it. When you're in the good and evil, I'm really excited right now because I love being in my Father's presence. I love it. It's the best. Like, I don't understand why people do drugs at all, because being in God's presence is like the best high ever. No drugs necessary at all, none. Like, you literally feel high. Anyway, he's saying that everything you see, colors, sounds, numbers, music, even the jerks, that, you know, once you're, pardon me, Father, when you're in the matrix of your own making, which most of the matrix is, of our own making, I mean the bad part, like the part that we don't feel in control of, it's still of our making, but he is not in it in the sense that he can control everything, but you have to understand that if he took our free will away, that defeats the purpose of him being God. Because if he takes our free will away, then the people who love him by choice through their own free will don't love him by free choice. You see the paradox there? God is all about the paradoxes. So once we're outside of that operating system of good and evil, and we're sitting outside the matrix, we're in between heaven and here. Wow, my ear is just like, all the pressure just changed in my head. We're in between most people, Father, not me. Okay, most people are in between the 5th and 6th dimension, is what he's saying in their... Most people outside of the good and evil operating system are in between the 5th and 6th dimension. And so, because people live in the 4th dimension, most people, confirmation, most people don't know that. But humans are deeply rooted in the 3rd and 4th dimension. We always live between 2 dimensions, he says. We're living between, most of God's chosen are living between the 5th and 6th dimension. And he's saying that that's just below heaven. Like, it's just outside of seeing and feeling and smelling and everything, like, for real, like that kind of real for us. The angels and him and his throne and everything else. He says he dwells above that, but that people could see him, like physically see him, if they would ascend just a little bit higher. He says he's changing people's eyes. He says he's changing my eyes. He says we're going to see it all. That's going to be freaky, Father. He says he's not going to do it to everybody. He says that he's going to do it for his chosen. Like his high-ranking chosen. Because they're the most ready. And it's not a favoritism thing, although it kind of is with the Lord, but that's not why he's not doing that for everybody. The reason he's not doing it for everybody is because some people haven't come up high enough to understand what they're even seeing. And he doesn't want to freak people out, like more than it's already going to freak people out, he says. He says people are going to freak out. He says, I'm going to freak out. He's saying it's going to be like, really, when is this happening? He says right now. Like now, like in my now, this now? Or like, okay, confirmation. Or like, okay, all right. How long is it going to take? Seconds, he says, in a blink of an eye. So like we're just going to blink our eyes and like 1 second all this stuff's not going to be there, and then the next second we're going to look and it's all going to be there. Okay, I might need some spiritual Valium, Father. I'm not sure about all this. But like, I'm down. I mean, whatever you're going to do, I'm down with that. He says, be careful what you wish for. Oh, wow. And when my Father says that, he means it. He never lies. He doesn't exaggerate. He says exactly what he means. He's good like that. He's really faithful. Okay, I hear you, yes. He says that I don't need to curb my enthusiasm for him, but he says that I need to calm down because people will take it the wrong way and think that I'm manic or something like that. And he's right. I'm sure most people will already think that I'm a complete nut job, lunatic, talking to demons, etc., etc. I've heard that before. Yeah, confirmation. So, I mean, one of my closest friends said to me once that he wasn't sure that God was talking to me, and I thought, you know, if you don't know, because he knows the Lord very well, or not personally, but he knows what to look for when people are saying they're talking to God. And he didn't believe me. I don't think he still doesn't. my friend, my one and only friend, the person that I've talked to on the phone, you know, for the last couple of years, he doesn't believe me. But, you know, do I now seek to please man? And if I do, I shouldn't be a disciple of Jesus Christ. What can I say? You know, I don't care what he says. And it's not that I don't care, like, as in I'm apathetic and my heart doesn't feel for him. But he says people are going to believe. He says even the people that don't see, he says even the people who don't see are going to see the effects of this spiritual aspect to things. Wow. Like tonight? He says, yeah, like right now. He's really funny. Hilarious, in fact. God has got the best sense of humor. He says he's sending his son. Which is God, of course, I mean. But he says he's sending he says, I'm sending my word, I'm sending my sword. And those of us who put our armor on every day, twice a day, we know what that is. The word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. The Spirit moved upon the deep. Wow. The things he shows me when he's saying these things is just... I can see there's an opening above my car right now with just a bunch of eyeballs. Like one big eyeball in the middle, a bunch of wheels with all eyeballs. So weird. And they're just singing. They just sing to him all the time. These are incredible creatures. Like, wow. The Holy Elohim. I went into battle with them the other night, and we whooped on the enemy. I mean, we whooped on all of them. We whooped on them. And, they're the best. I love the Holy Elohim. They're just that good. Just waiting on you, Father. He says, I'm waiting on you to shut up. He didn't say shut up. He said stop talking. He didn't say shut up. He never says that to me. He never says that to anyone. He's never rude. Not even a little bit. Not even in kidding. He never doesn't make jokes like that. Never does it. He's always a perfect gentleman. And he never impinges on me. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Nobody's ever going to believe me that you're talking to me. No one's ever going to believe it. He says, I don't care what they believe right now. They will believe. Okay, Father. He says some already do. Can I roll a cigarette now? Please? He says, wait. All right. I will. I don't buy cigarettes, but I do roll them sometimes. I enjoy it. He's not happy that I smoke, but he's gonna take that away from me completely. Well, maybe not completely, because I like rolling cigarettes. I don't like buying them. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to edit the crap out of this video, Father. I'm so sorry. I can't shut up when he's around me. I'm so sorry, Father. How is anyone ever going to take me seriously when I can't even keep my own mouth shut? Those who have ears to hear will hear, and those who have eyes to see will see, he says. Okay. I trust you, Father. The laborers are few, Father. Please send more. He says, I'm sending more. He says, but there's not enough of you. There's not enough of you yet. There will be more. Be of good courage. Do not let your heart be troubled. Do not be afraid. Okay, Father, I trust you. My eyes feel really funny. Can I just close them then? Because they feel really weird. Wow. My brain feels... Wow. It's not bad. It's just, it's overwhelming. My brain is like overwhelmingly high right now. My eyes feel funny. My ears already, like, they didn't pop, but like a acute, like, pressure change is what I felt like there's a tornado near me or something. Excuse me. Excuse me. He says to say not every time somebody burps, there's a demon coming out. Okay. He says a lot of you have already started to see things. I know I saw something the other day. I looked out the window and there was a tall black, like a shadow, like a black. It wasn't like a shadow. It was like black, walking like really fast, and it had like a trail behind it, like a trail of blackness. I don't even know how to explain that, but it was definitely a person. Like it was like I could see the body outline. Was walking really fast. Oh, my eyes feel so weird, Father. They feel really weird. They're really red. That is so good, Father. So good. He says to go back and read the message or listen to the message that I put on my YouTube channel. It's something. What is it, Father? The prophetic word, the great deception is upon us, or upon you. I don't remember how I worded it. I can link it to this video. What do you call that? I can link it to this video. I'll do that. I've never done that before, but I'll do it now. He says, I'm watching someone walk through the park with their, with a big ass flashlight. Like, that's a really bright flashlight. But he says that's what it's gonna be like at first. He says it's gonna be just like a flashlight. He says, because he doesn't want to blow everybody's mind. Not everybody, he doesn't want to blow people's minds. The people that start to see things, I mean physically see things. He says we'll see people's faces change. He says we're going to see spirits, like spirits. He says we'll see the angels, like his holy angels. And he says eventually we'll see him. But he says that at first it's going to be like a flashlight that just kind of goes wherever you point it. Up, down, left, right. But it will be like in a cone of light. It won't reveal everything at once. It will be only where you focus. It's not going to be like everything, because that will be too much. He's so good like that. He's a perfect gentleman. So, wow, it's already been 21 minutes. Wow, okay. He says, yeah, you talk a lot. He's right. Oh, he's always right. But he says he uses everything that I do for a reason. I don't even know what he means by that. Not exactly. Kind of, but not really. That flashlight beam will widen more and more and more until it is everything that you see. But he says again, do not be afraid. I am with you, he says. He says at first it'll be like, he's making analogies. It'll be like the low beams on your car, like your car headlights, and he'll turn those on, and it'll be like instant. We'll see it, like won't be there, and then it'll be there, and then it'll be like brighter, like when you flip on the high beams, and that it'll like be more, and you know what I mean. It'll be in stages, so that we're not just like completely mind blown. And he says he's going to shield us from some of the like Leviathan, like seeing Leviathan, because not only is he like one of the most foul spirits, in my humble opinion, because he's a spiritual rapist. He's horrible. But he says we're not going to be able to see those things right away because it would just be way too much. Like, Leviathan is a terrifying thing to see. I don't care how much of the spiritual realm you've seen, even like witches and warlocks that like fly around and hang out in the spiritual realm all the time. They are horrified, terrified of Leviathan. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we should be like horrified or terrified, but like just visually, I think that would be really intense. Yeah, he's a foul, unclean, unholy. Oh, sorry. He says he speaks through colors. It's alright, Moon. That's weird. Wow, he says he speaks through colors. He says trust your animals. He says when your animal senses something weird, it's weird. He says that's one of the ways that people who can't see will always know. Animals will tell you what's going on. He says 2 demons just passed me, and it was just 2 people walking by. So, but that's not entirely strange. I sense it on most people. I mean, it's like it's everybody, honestly. He says, you'll see things and people won't believe you. Not just me, but others. And people won't believe you. They won't at first. But it'll be really a very short time until everybody believes exactly what's going on. That they all know. Like, it'll be obvious. People will be able to see the effects of what we're seeing, even though they can't see what's doing it. Kind of like now. I mean, we go through so much spiritual warfare, and he says this thing that he's doing, everybody will believe. He says it won't take much time for things to manifest. He says he's shortening the time between when things manifest in the spirit and they manifest here in the 3D. He says he's cutting that short. He says it'll be almost instantaneous, if not instant. He says depending on the depending on the strength of the spirits involved. And sometimes it's hard to interpret your words, Father, because you don't speak in words. He says, make your hands and feet available for him. He needs us all to be ready for duty, more than we've ever been. He says he's proud of us. I know, I don't mean in like some toxic, Belle, don't please, in some toxic pride way, like, you know, the pride that, you know, caused the fall of Eden. No, not that kind of thing. But like when a father is proud of his children, because we sacrificed a lot, all of us. He says we are to rejoice and celebrate. He says you're gonna love this. Belle, don't pout. I love you so much. Don't pout, lovey boo. Are you biting your toy toy? I love you so much. Do you want another egg? I love you. I'm sorry, Mama's just doing something right now, Mamu. He says every idiosyncrasy, every quirk, every habit, everything that my people do is for a reason. He said that's for him to know and everybody else to find out. You're so strange. He says that as lighthearted as my servant makes things sound and everything he says is really serious. He's apologizing for me. He says, I apologize for the, not apologize, but he's making a point, is what he's doing. I don't like to be heavy, Father, because my whole life has been heavy, so it's a little bit hard for me to take anything seriously now. He says, yeah, that's for a reason, too. My strength is in your joy, Father. He says he wants me to act more reverent because otherwise some people are just gonna completely blow me off. But you know what's gonna happen anyway. He says, yes, I know, but I still want you to act more reverent. Yes, Father. Pardon me. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so flippant, but you know my life has been weird. So it's hard for me to take anything seriously anymore. What else do you want to say about it? I'm sorry. I don't mean to waste your time. At all. He says someone will betray us. One of us. He says he's already foreseen this. He says he knows this person is going to watch this video. He says, do not fear, but your heart, excuse me, but the fall will be great, he says. The fall from grace. The truth will be revealed when it's time. Stay vigilant, you are my watchers on the wall. He says he's changing our bodies more than we've ever had them changed in any previous upgrades. He's not just changing our eyes and like our senses. He's changing our hearts. Excuse me, and our minds and everything. He's changing our blood system to the Christ consciousness, like pure Christ consciousness. He said because I had a dream about obtaining like the original programming from God a while ago. I put it on the channel. He said after I got that from the archives, he says, the Halls of Amenti, he says, or that's one of their names, the Akashic Records. Once I got the Christ consciousness programming, original programming from the Lord, that he's giving it back to us. He's saying that I know who this is, this betrayer, this Judas. But he says, don't worry about it. I work all things, even the evil, together for the good of those who love me. He says, don't worry. He says you will be able to perform signs and wonders and miracles. Is that all, Father? He says, hold on, this is going to be a wild ride. He says he just wants to prepare his children for what's coming. Good and bad, he says. Because there's going to be a lot of good, he says. There's going to be a lot of good, a lot of good. But there will be horrors and terrible acts done in his name. Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry, Father. He says, don't grieve with him. Only do what he says. He says, be obedient, continue to do what you're doing. He says he's seen it all. From the end to the beginning and everything in between, he sees it all at once. And he says that we are victorious. He says that we are more than conquerors. He says that we will see Christ. We will know him. We will love him like we love our Father, because he is our Father. He says he adores us. He adores us. He just adores us. We are the apple of his eye, he says. And he's so proud of us. Thank you, Father. 다시 한번 더 공예만 하이겠다. He says he's going to be with us very soon. And we will see him physically. Confirmation. He always makes my nose itch when he's giving me confirmation that way. There are many ways he gives me confirmation, but the nose itch thing is something that other people can see. He says, you are the light of my heart. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. He says, I've conformed you. I'm not conforming you. I've conformed you to the image of my son. I called you and now I've conformed you. Wow. He says he's giving us new tongues, like as in languages to use. And he says other people will recognize them, not just the chosen. He says, well, he says we'll all split. He says that the chosen's languages are being reunited so that we will be able to speak each other's languages no matter what language we speak or have spoken. What is that noise? Oh, okay. He says that we'll be able to speak other languages. He says just keep turning to him, keep our eyes on him. He will lead us, he will guide us. And don't be afraid. He says do not fear, don't be afraid. He says you'll see soon, very soon. You'll start to see, even in the next couple of days, like you'll see. He says it'll be like nothing anyone has ever experienced Behold, I do a new thing. Shall you not perceive of it? He says it's all real. Don't doubt him. Don't doubt him. He says, please excuse my servant. But I love her as I love you. He says he'll direct me when he has another message. He says, I love you. And he's showing me this really, let me set this down. He's showing me this really beautiful, like a sun, like a star sun. And it's just radiating light, just everywhere. It's just everywhere, and it's beautiful. And it feels like really warm, not hot, but warm and like comforting. He says the purification process is complete. He says I've perfected you. It's done. He says it'll take some time for us to see it. In ourselves. But he says our DNA's already changed. Our blood systems are changed to the heart of Christ, the mind of Christ, the blood of Christ. We are free from all sins, curses, death, powers of hell, all of it. We're free from it. We're free from the good and evil operating system. He says we're as close to we have ever been before we fell in Eden. And he says, yes, Eden is a real place. He says it's all real. Wow. Yes, Father. He says he loves you. He says he loves you. Alright, so, he says hold on to your pantyhose. Alright. Is there anything else? He says, nope, that's it. For now. I hope this video finds you blessed. Love, blessings, and compassion, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.